The thunderous roar of motorcycle engines shattered the quiet desert night like a storm unleashed from hell. 15-year-old Jack stood alone in the flickering glow of a bonfire, his skinny frame trembling but unyielding, surrounded by a circle of leather-clad bikers whose faces were etched with scars and suspicion. "Tell me who my father is," he demanded, his voice cracking like dry lightning, holding up a faded photograph that had been his only lifeline since his mother's death. The gang's leader, a hulking man with a beard like tangled wire, leaned forward on his Harley, eyes narrowing. "Kid, you got guts coming here. But guts can get you killed." Jax hadn't always been this bold. Growing up in a dusty trailer park on the outskirts of Reno, Nevada, his life was a patchwork of hand-me-down clothes and hushed secrets. His mother, Elena, was a waitress with tired eyes and a smile that could light up the dimmest diner. She raised him single-handedly, working double shifts to keep food on the table and dreams in his heart. "You're my whole world, Jax," she'd say, tucking him in with stories of far-off adventures. But there was always a shadow in those tales, a missing piece she never filled. Whenever he'd ask about his father, her face would cloud over. "Someday, baby. Someday, you'll understand." That someday came crashing down when Elena was diagnosed with cancer. It hit like a freight train, stealing her strength month by month. Jax watched her fade, holding her hand through chemo sessions that left her frail and whispering. In her final days, she pressed a small wooden box into his palms. Inside was the photograph. A young Elena laughing beside a rugged man on a motorcycle, his arm around her waist, a tattoo of a snarling wolf on his bicep. On the back, scrawled in faded ink, "To my wild one, love forever, Razor." And a note from Elena. "If you need answers, find the iron wolves. But be careful, Jax. Some truths bite." She passed away that winter, leaving Jax orphaned at 14. The foster system swallowed him whole, bouncing him from home to home like a stray dog. Each placement chipped away at his spirit, the indifferent guardians, the bullying kids who called him trailer trash. But the box became his anchor. He stared at the photo every night, tracing the man's face, wondering if those eyes held the same loneliness he felt. Who was Razor? Why had he left? The questions gnawed at him, fueling a fire that grew from embers of grief into a blaze of determination. By 15, Jax couldn't take the uncertainty anymore. He ran away from his latest foster home, hitchhiking across the Nevada Badlands with nothing but a backpack, the photo, and Elena's old locket around his neck. Whispers in truck stops and bars led him to the Iron Wolves, a notorious biker gang known for their ironclad loyalty and ruthless code. They roamed the highways, living free but fierce, with a reputation for protecting their own and destroying threats. Jax's heart pounded as he tracked them to a remote campsite near the Black Rock Desert, where the stars seemed close enough to touch, and the wind carried echoes of engines long gone. Sneaking into their territory under the cover of dusk, Jax felt fear coil in his gut like a venomous snake. These weren't the heroes from his mother's stories. They were real men with calloused hands and haunted eyes, patched vests proclaiming iron wolves over snarling wolf emblems. He hid behind a boulder, watching them laugh around the fire, sharing beers and tales of the road. One biker, a grizzled veteran named Spike, regaled the group with a story of a wild ride through a storm, his voice gravelly and alive. Jax envied their camaraderie, the way they slapped backs and shared burdens. It was a family he never had, but doubt crept in. What if they laughed him off, or worse, saw him as an intruder? His hands shook as he clutched the photo, remembering Elena's warning. Some truths bite. Still, the ache for identity propelled him forward. He stepped into the firelight, voice steady despite the terror. "I'm looking for Razor. He's my father." The circle fell silent, engines idling like held breaths. The leader, Bear, a massive man with a scar splitting his eyebrow, dismounted his bike, towering over Jax. "Razor? Kid, you must be lost. Razor's been gone for years. What makes you think you're his?" Jax thrust the photo forward, his eyes locking on Bear's. "This. My mom, Elena. She kept it hidden until she died. Please, I need to know." Murmurs rippled through the gang. Spike snatched the photo, his face paling. "Holy hell, Bear, look at him. Spit an image of Razor when he was young." Others nodded, studying Jax's sharp jawline and unruly dark hair. But suspicion lingered. A younger biker, Viper, with tattoos snaking up his arms, sneered. "Could be a setup. Cops send kids sometimes, or rivals." Bear held up a hand, silencing them. "Easy. Kids got balls showing up here alone." He eyed Jax, then nodded toward a log by the fire. Sit. Tell us your story. As Jax spoke, pouring out years of loneliness and loss, the bikers listened. Their tough exteriors cracked just a bit, nods of understanding, shared glances. Bear revealed the first pieces. Razor was a founding member of the Iron Wolves, a legend for his daring runs and unbreakable spirit. But 12 years ago, during a heated turf war with a rival gang, the Scorpions, Razor vanished. We thought he was dead, Bear said, voice thick. Ambushed on a solo ride. Never found the body. Elena, she was his girl back then, broke her heart when he disappeared. Jax's world tilted. His father wasn't a deadbeat who abandoned them. He was a ghost, presumed lost to violence. But why the secrecy? As the night deepened, the gang shared stories of Razor, how he'd once ridden through a blizzard to deliver medicine to a stranded brother, or faced down 10 scorpions alone to protect the pack. Jax felt a swell of pride mixed with sorrow. These men weren't monsters. They were survivors bound by loyalty in a world that had chewed them up, yet challenges loomed. Viper, still distrustful, challenged Jax. You think showing up makes you one of us? Prove it. The gang tested him. Simple tasks at first, fetching water, tending the fire. But then came the real trial. A storm brewed on the horizon, and the wolves needed to secure their camp. Jax, unaccustomed to the rough life, slipped on slick rocks, nearly dropping a crucial tarp. Viper mocked him. City boy can't handle the wild. Humiliation burned, but Jax pushed on, driven by Elena's memory. I'm not here to join, he shot back. I'm here for the truth. That night around the fire, Bear pulled him aside. There's more, kid. Razor had a secret. Before he vanished, he confided in me. Elena was pregnant, with you. He wanted out of the life to start fresh, but the Scorpions threatened her. He went to settle it alone to protect you both. The revelation hit Jax like a punch. His father hadn't left. He'd sacrificed everything. Tears streamed down Jax's face as grief and relief collided. Why didn't he come back? Bear sighed, placing a heavy hand on his shoulder. We don't know, but if he's alive, he'd be proud of you facing us like this. The true test came days later. Word spread that the Scorpions were sniffing around, drawn by rumors of Razor's kin. The wolves prepared for a standoff, engines revving like war drums. Jax, now part of the makeshift family, insisted on staying. This is my fight too. Viper, softening, handed him a helmet. All right, pup, but stick close. The confrontation unfolded on a desolate highway at dawn. The Scorpions rolled up, led by a sneering brute named Fang. Heard you got Razor's bastard. Hand him over and we walk away. Bear stood firm, the gang forming a wall. Jax stepped forward, heart hammering. I'm not afraid. Tell me what happened to my father. Fang laughed, but his eyes flickered with unease. Razor? We roughed him up good, but he got away. Crawled off to die somewhere, weak like you. Lies, Jax sensed. Emboldened, he pressed. You're hiding something. The tension snapped. A scorpion lunged, but the wolves erupted in defense. Fists flew, bikes roared, but it was Jax's quick thinking that turned the tide. Spotting a loose chain on Fang's bike, he yelled a warning just as it snapped, sending Fang sprawling. In the chaos, Fang confessed under Bear's grip. Razor had escaped, but the Scorpions spread the death rumor to break the wolves' spirit. He's out there. Went underground to protect his family. The Scorpions retreated, tails between their legs. Victory tasted bittersweet. Jax hadn't found Razor, but he'd uncovered the truth. His father was a hero, alive in hiding, his love enduring through the years. As the sun rose, the Iron Wolves embraced Jax as one of their own. Bear gave him Razor's old vest, patched with the wolf emblem. You're not lost anymore, kid. Family ain't just blood. It's the pack that stands with you. Jax rode with them for a while, the wind whipping away his old pains. Eventually, he returned to society, armed with stories and strength, vowing to search for Razor someday. But the real gift was the lesson etched in his soul. Courage blooms in the face of fear, and true identity is forged in the fires of trial. Years later, Jax would tell his own children about that night in the desert, the bikers who became brothers, and the father whose secret love guided him home. In a world full of lost souls, he found that asking the hard questions and facing the answers could turn a boy into a man. And that, dear friends, is the power of unbreakable bonds. Never stop seeking your truth. It might just lead you to a family you never knew you had.